A world-class hormone regimen can be pretty life-changing at a time of perimenopause and beyond to help you live and give more as you get older rather than less. It's not just about not suffering from debilitating symptoms of perimenopause, although it most certainly does that too, but it can help you provide resources to all of your cells to be able to operate at a physiologically younger age for a longer time. The long-term effects of that are massive. But one of the questions that I frequently get is, yeah, that's what I want, but how do I even get it? Where do I find a good doctor to work with? How do I know I'm getting the type of prescription that will get me the elite level results that I want? You're listening to the Health Courage Collective podcast, episode 234, How to Get What You Want with Your Hormone Health. Welcome to the Health Courage Collective podcast, the show for women who are too busy to slog through hours of generalized, inapplicable, and often contradictory health information, but too smart to ignore that a few minutes of focused attention now can prevent years of suffering in the future. I'm your host, Christina Hackett, a pharmacist who doesn't want you to live on prescriptions, a certified coach specifically trained to maximize your potential, and a compulsive learner obsessed with preventative, cutting-edge, holistic, and integrative medicine. I'm on a mission to increase your physical and mental resilience so you can fearlessly look forward to your next 40-plus limitless years. Your time is now. Let's go. Hello, my friend, and welcome to today's episode. I hope you've had a fabulous week. How's your DHEA? I hope it's been empowering to you to understand more about what DHEA is, how it can help you, and whether it's important or not as far as your hormone health goes. If you're listening to this episode the day it comes out, then I think you're awesome. And if you're not, then I still think you're awesome. But the release date is Christmas Eve. So in that frame of mind, if you were to give someone some advice about how to get exactly what they want for Christmas, what would you say? Drop a few subtle hints in October and hope that if your husband loves you enough, he'll take notice and take action and turn your Christmas into a living Hallmark movie? Hope that your sister knows you well enough to intuit the things you've had your eye on for the last 5 months? Probably not, right? You got to take a page out of Ralphie's book and declare the specifics of exactly what you want. I want an official Red Ryder carbine action 200-shot range model air rifle. And also slip an ad for it inside the pages of your mom's Look magazine. Be willing to claw your way back up a slippery slide to make it known that actually no, you don't want a nice football. You want what you want and not what someone else thinks you should want. And thus we have the first and most important step in getting what you want in terms of hormone treatment. Know exactly what you want. Easier said than done. By the way, have you watched the sequel, The Christmas Story Christmas? It came out in 2022, but I just heard about it this year, so it's on my list to watch with my kids before the Christmas season is over. Rotten Tomatoes says it's actually pretty good, so hopefully that's true. We watch the original pretty much every year, and we have several Christmas Story merch items around our house. So what exactly do you want in regard to your changing hormone levels now, and with the knowledge that they will drastically decrease soon? What do you want as far as your general health goes 20 years from now, 40 years from now? What do you view as the reason to take or not take hormone replacement therapy? I think that's the biggest question to know your own personal answer to in order to get what you want. Standard practice is that hormone replacement therapy is okay at the smallest possible dose for the shortest possible duration, only to relieve symptoms of menopause that are severe enough to interfere with your daily life that nothing else will work for, basically. And that hormone replacement therapy means just estrogen, unless you have a uterus, and then it's estrogen plus progestin or progesterone. This is why I believe that spending the time to really understand your different sex hormones and how they change at perimenopause and menopause, and what implications that has on all of your body systems is so worth it. If you understand the tremendous scope of how youthful hormone levels keep your coronary arteries healthy and your brain younger and your metabolism more sensitive to insulin, and your muscles stronger, and your bones way more resilient, and your immune system more robust, but in a balanced way, your mood regulated, and your energy levels up. And what is important to you is to use the lowest possible dose for the shortest possible duration, only for the most bothersome of menopausal symptoms, then I'm all for it. And getting what you want shouldn't be too difficult. If, however, what you really want is to enlist maintaining optimal hormone levels as one of your strategies in reaching your ultimate objective, which is to make it to age 80 or 90 without all the same chronic diseases of aging as your peers, then your approach to hormone replacement therapy needs to be different. You'll have higher standards to uphold, and you'll need to have a more sophisticated treatment plan. It'll probably be a little more difficult to find a prescriber who you jive with. But if this is what you're after, I think the struggle is totally worth it, because it is possible to prevent or drastically delay all of the chronic conditions that society considers normal parts of aging. Optimal hormone levels alone won't be the only thing to get you there, but most of the other strategies you need to execute are pretty widely accepted as conventional wisdom, so you won't get pushback from traditional providers. Like if you tell any doctor that you're exercising regularly and eating nutrient-dense foods, they're not going to tell you to stop. But there will definitely be some that will tell you to stop taking hormones. I've talked about Dr. Peter Attia's mental framework before that I find so useful in determining what kind of health-promoting behaviors to spend your resources on. There are so many things we're told to do and take and buy for our health that it can feel overwhelming and confusing. I don't have time and money for everything, so how do I know what to focus on and what to ignore? Dr. Attia's framework is super valuable here. The answer is, you treat it like a military operation. You start with the objective. What's the main objective, and are there any secondary objectives? Once you're crystal clear on the objective, then you move on to drafting an intelligent strategy to meet that objective. Then, once you know the strategy or strategies that are most likely to achieve your objective, that's when you determine your tactics. What precisely are you going to do? Which operatives need to be deployed? What intelligence do you need to gather? What machine needs to be used? Which chemicals are right for this job? Is this a situation that requires a lipstick camera or an inflatable tank, an EMP or a shoe phone? The cone of silence? I find this so valuable because once you really understand it, it makes everything so much easier to either ignore or go all in on. Let it sink deeply into your consciousness and then start paying attention. Almost everything you're told to do or buy or is the next great thing for your health or whatever is a tactic. Deploying a whole bunch of random tactics, no matter how impressive, doesn't move your mission forward. Buying an umbrella shotgun or a parabolic microphone only helps you if they're an integral part of an intelligent strategy that's the most likely way to meet your objective. Once you know your objective, it's easier to come up with an intelligent strategy. Once you know your strategy, you'll know which tactics are going to move your mission forward, and you can ignore exploding cigars and everything else that isn't the best tactic for your strategy. Knowing exactly what you want and what benefit it will give you is a huge step toward getting you what you want with your hormone care. I don't think most women are clear enough about that. Unlike with Christmas gifts, where genuinely and honestly having no wants or expectations ensures that you won't be disappointed, having no objectives for your long-term health will almost definitely not leave you feeling jolly. And unfortunately, most medical providers don't ask you to spell out your long-term objective. It's usually just assumed, and sometimes that's okay. I take that back. I think most of the time it's okay. Wait, I think I take that back again. This requires more thought and I don't want to make you wait for it. But suffice it to say, for most of pediatrics, it's just assumed that the objective is for the child to grow into a healthy and well-adjusted adult. That's fine. For most urgent care visits, it's assumed that the objective is to get rid of the rash or get the Lego out of your nose. This is the same old thing I always say, that modern Western medicine is amazing and fantastic for things that kill you fast. but not so much for things that kill you slowly. So when you're working with a provider about something preventative or chronic, you're more likely to get what you want when you specify your objective. Ideally to them, but at least to yourself, most providers will assume you want to be, quote, normal, with health metrics in the normal range. But I hope you don't want to be normal, that is. If you specify that you instead want to be optimal, not normal, and to make preventative interventions way sooner than is normal, you're more likely to get what you want. Similarly, what most traditional doctors will assume your objective is, if you ask about hormone treatment, is to take the edge off your most bothersome perimenopausal symptoms. That's all it's approved for and recommended for by the official Menopause Society. And your provider, understandably, doesn't want to get sued. And estrogen products contain a super scary black box warning about causing cancer, heart attack, stroke, blood clots, and dementia. It's so stupid. If instead you make it clear that your main objective with hormone replacement is to provide your body with youthful levels of hormones so that it can function optimally for longer and prevent or drastically delay all of the common diseases of aging that skyrocket once your hormone levels fall off a cliff at menopause and are all considered normal parts of aging, then you're more likely to get the kind of hormone care that you want. Not just from any prescriber, but your objective will help you rule out the providers that are not on board with your mission. When looking for allies in achieving your objectives, it's also useful to know and express your preferred strategy. Most typical doctors will assume that your desired strategy for hormone therapy is the standard of care. Estrogen. The end. At the lowest possible dose for the shortest possible duration, plus or minus a progesterone or progesterone if you still have a uterus. We've talked at length many times in the past about how wrong I think that is. The point is that if you don't say, or even worse, don't even know yourself, what strategy you want to follow, you'll most likely end up looped into a strategy that has almost no chance of achieving your objective. You won't get what you want. I want you to get what you want. For Christmas and for your hormone health and for your long-term health. And I think it starts with you knowing exactly what your objective is, what strategy you think is best, and then which tactics are the very best for executing that strategy and ignoring the tactics that are not. Knowing this stuff for yourself and how exactly a world-class hormone replacement program is set up before you even pick a provider to work with massively increases your confidence and your ability to create your own future so that you end up with exactly what you want. It helps you filter through possible prescribers. It helps you know what to expect in terms of the time and money you're going to have to invest. And it helps you remember why you're not settling for the standard of care or trying to muddle your way through with the latest and greatest herbal products you've heard being advertised over the counter. I hope you want elite level long-term and hormonal health, and that you know that you deserve it. Like, really, truly deserve it. And that it's available to you. You don't have to be Jennifer Aniston, who still looks fabulous, by the way, or Sandra Bullock, or Michelle Obama, or any other stunning and fantastically famous woman. Did you know that Sandra and Michelle are both 61 and Jennifer is 56? Nice. The point is that you don't have to be as rich or famous or well-connected as they are to deserve and actually receive world-class care. You can get what you want, and I'd love to help you. If you want to learn more about how to get world-class hormone care by educating yourself first, and then how to find a prescriber who meets your high standards, and how to know treatment is going well and you should stick with it or change it up, then you want to be on the waitlist for my new beta program. Click the link in the show notes or go to my website, www.healthcouragecollective.com, and get on the waitlist. It's going to be awesome. We are going to get you set up with the power to get exactly what you want with your hormone health in 2026. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I hope you have a great week, whether you're listening to this at Christmas time or not. Next week, New Year's Eve, we're going to talk about the secret group that can advise you about living at a high level. Until then, go get what you really want and don't be normal. Thank you so much for tuning into the Health Courage Collective podcast. I am truly honored that you have paid me the enormous compliment of your time and attention. I would be so grateful if you would share this podcast with someone you know and subscribe so you never miss an episode. This podcast is for entertainment and information purposes only. Statements and views on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Christina Hackett and producers, disclaim responsibility for any possible adverse events by use of information contained herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.